Morning students, in this video I shall discuss the respiration in plants and animals. Normally the respiration process includes the intake of oxygen, then releasing energy from food, then the removal of carbon dioxide which is the byproduct of this process. Now in case of plants, the respiration process also occur because they are also living organisms. They also need energy for their survival. So that is why they also release energy from food. Now the animals, they also prepare or release their energy from the food by this process. Now how this respiration occurs in case of plant? In case of plant, there is no any specific system. There is no respiratory system like animal. In case of human being, there is specific respiratory system is there. But in case of plant, there is no specific system, but the respiration occurs in all parts of the plant, like your roots, the stem and leaf. Everywhere the respiration occurs. The oxygen enters into the plant through the stem, root and leaf. Now, there is no transport of these gases from one part to another with any transport system. In case of animal, the blood is there and blood transport the oxygen from one part to another, and the carbon dioxide also carried out from the different cells to the outside. Now that is why there is no transportation of the oxygen and carbon dioxide, and this process is normally slower in case of plant in comparison to the animals. Now, how these gases like your carbon dioxide and oxygen, they actually reach to each and every cell of the plant? That is the diffusion process. Normally when they enter into the root, look at here, there are some small pores present, and through these pores, through the root hair, these are the outgrowths from the root, and they enter there, and by the process of diffusion, they actually reach to each and every cell of the root. Now, in case of stem, there are some special opening called the lenticels. Lenticels where the cells are loose and normally the oxygen enters into the stem through these lenticels, and the carbon dioxide which is produced during the respiration, during the release of energy, normally they remove to the outside through these lenticels. So that is why when they enter into the stem cells, they pass from one cell to another cell, another cell to another cell. In this way, by the process of diffusion, they reach each and every cell. So that is why this process is slower in comparison to the animal respiration. Now, another part of the plant, that is the leaf. It is present in the outer surface, and normally this leaf contains a special structure called the stomata. These stomata are the tiny openings which are present in the leaf surfaces. Sometimes they are more in the lower surface, and in the upper surface they are less in number. So whatever the case may be, but their number is there, and normally exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. The exchange of oxygen or the entrance of oxygen and removal of the carbon dioxide occur through the stomata. So there are thousands of stomata you will find in the each leaf, and there are thousands of leaves in the each tree or each plant. So that is why a large amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide they are exchanged here, but it is not actually absorbed from the outside because it is continuously going on throughout the leaf surfaces. So in case of plant, although the energy requirements is low, so that is why the process of respiration is also slower in comparison to the animals. Now, how this respiration occurs in the animal? In case of animal, the respiratory surfaces of course different in the different groups of animals, but we shall study some selective groups of animals about the respiration process or the exchange of gases and releasing of energy from the food. Normally the releasing of energy is same in almost all living organisms. That means the glucose is broken down. Suppose this is the glucose molecule and this glucose is broken down to pyruvic acid, as we have already studied, and from the pyruvic acid, when it enters into the Krebs cycle, in the Krebs cycle, it normally releases the energy, then your electron transport system occurs. So these processes are same normally in aerobic organisms, but the intake of oxygen and removal of carbon dioxide is different in the different groups of animals. These are called the respiratory surfaces. So that is why these respiratory surfaces are different in the different groups of animals. Then what are the different respiratory surfaces? These respiratory surfaces also called the respiratory system, and through this respiratory system normally the oxygen enters into the body and the carbon dioxide is removed. Now look at the first example, that is your amoeba. This is the simplest animal, and this amoeba, look at this structure. This is the plasma membrane, it is the outer covering, and through this plasma membrane here the respiratory surface is the plasma membrane, and through the plasma membrane the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs by the process of simple diffusion, and by this diffusion the oxygen enters here and the carbon dioxide comes out, because the outer surrounding it is the water and water medium is there, so that is why they diffuse outside and the oxygen enters into the body of the amoeba. So here the respiratory surface is the plasma membrane, it is the outer covering, and throughout the body surface the oxygen can enter, and throughout the surface the carbon dioxide can release to the outside. Now next important animal or important example, that is the earthworm. The earthworm is commonly available during the rainy season, and the exchange of gases occurs in case of earthworm through the skin, or it is called the moist skin. And this skin, it is normally very thin and it is delicate, so that is why normally the oxygen and carbon dioxide they exchange through the skin of the earthworm, leech, etc. And that is why their respiration process occurs through the skin. That is also called the cutaneous respiration. And after that, they enter into the blood circulation here. In case of amoeba, here directly they enter in the cytoplasm, but here the blood is there. Through the blood, normally the oxygen is transported throughout the body and reach to each and every cell. And that is why there are some oxygen carrier pigments like your hemoglobin molecules are present there. Now next, that is the insect. The insect groups, which are the most dominant groups in the earth, and these insects they normally transport the oxygen directly to the each and every cell through the wind pipes. These are the pipes, this term is called the trachea. So the spiracles are there through which, this is the opening, these are called the spiracles or air holes, and through which the air enters into the inner pipe, that is the trachea, and through the trachea they are transported to the different parts of the body, and after that they are branched and rebranched to reach the oxygen to each and every part of the cell. So that is why here the oxygen is transported in the gaseous form to each and every cell with the help of the special system that is called tracheal system in case of insect. Okay, that is why here the oxygen directly reaches to each and every cell in the gaseous form. Now, in case of aquatic animals like fish, they have a special respiratory system that is called the gills, and these gills are present inside the operculum. This is the operculum, and inside the operculum the gills are there, and when the fish take the water from through the mouth, the water enters here and they comes out through the operculum. Actually, they do not drink the water, but the water actually enters through the mouth and releases through the upper column. And when we release to the outside through the upper column, normally the dissolved oxygen which is present there in the water, a lot of oxygen is dissolved there, and this dissolved oxygen now enters through the gills into the blood circulation. Here the blood circulation is there, so that is why through the gills it enters in the blood circulation, and the blood, it normally transports the oxygen to each and every part of the body, because the blood contains the hemoglobin pigment, and this hemoglobin actually helps in the transport of oxygen to each part of the body, and from each part it carries out the carbon dioxide to the gills, and it normally goes to the outside. So that is why exchange of gases occurs no doubt in the gills, but the transport occurs through the blood. Now, next group of animal, the highest group of animal or the most developed animal, you can say, this is the human being, and they are terrestrial in nature. So they take the atmospheric oxygen into their body, and they have a special system that is called the lungs. And these lungs, which are present in the thoracic cavity, and inside the thoracic cavity the diaphragm is there, and here the lungs, two lungs are there on either side, and here look at here, this is the nasal opening through which the air enters into the nasal passage, and the pharynx is there, larynx is there, then the trachea, this is called the trachea, and after that it is the bronchus, then the bronchiole. We shall discuss in detail in the next video. Now, this is called the pulmonary system or pulmonary respiration in case of human being. And when the air enters into the lungs, it normally passes to the blood circulation, and through the blood they are transported to the different parts of the body, because the special pigments like your hemoglobin, which is present here, which helps in the transport of oxygen to each and every part of the body. Then the carbon dioxide, which is produced there by the process of respiration in the mitochondria of the cells, normally they again comes out of the through the blood to the lungs, and from the lungs it goes to the outside. And there is a special mechanism, the breathing mechanism, which occurs here, by which they normally discharge the carbon dioxide and take the oxygen. Now, these respiratory surfaces in case of animals, they have a large surface, because in a particular system they take the oxygen and they are transported through the blood. So that is why at one place they enter. So that is why these respiratory surfaces are larger in nature, and they are thin and membranous, because the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs with the blood. So that is why for better exchange or for exchange conveniently, the membrane is thinner, and by the process of diffusion they normally enters into the blood circulation, and it is transported throughout the body. Now that is why the transport system, or it transports through the fluid. Sometimes it may be your simple fluid, but in case of higher animal, there is a special fluid that is called the blood and the lymph. The blood and the lymph, these are the two important fluids which are present in the body for the transport of the different gases. So, these are the different respiratory surfaces normally found in case of animals. Of course, there are so many other different respiratory systems or surfaces are there, but these are some selective examples we are studying here for your class 10, and this much for the day. I hope this video is beneficial for you, and if it is really useful for you, then please like it and subscribe for further videos. Thank you very much.